Hello everyone. So I am here to do the Jumbo Genre Recommendation tag. So this is created by Stripcover Lit, and I was tagged by Todd the Librarian. So basically there's a list of genres, and I'm going to tell you books that I think are good, that I think you should read, etc. As recommendations. Some of these I'm going to have to kind of twist a little bit because some genres I don't read, so I'm gonna have to go another way about them. But it is what it is. So number one is science fiction. So I haven't read a whole lot of like hardcore science fiction. I had just read Midworld, which I thought was really good. And sorry, I'm being distracted by my cat here. He's like trying to eat a June bug or one of those damn little things. Anyways, Todd talks about it quite a bit on his channel, and I decided to check it out, and I really enjoyed it. I like the world building, the idea of how people like on another planet would live, especially when they are, I guess you would say, more tribal-like, more connected to the planet, a different set of beliefs. It was just very interesting. It was kind of a fantasy-ish sci-fi kind of thing, and it's really enjoyable. I can definitely see why he likes it, because it is well written and, very engaging. Anyways, two other things I could mention that are not hardcore sci-fi, obviously, but have sci-fi-ish elements is one that they mentioned on their channel, on Stripcover Lit, for YA, because they have YA as a genre or category or whatever here. And even though it is my favorite, I think I have other things for YA for that one. But The Hunger Games definitely has, within the whole trilogy, sci-fi elements of high-tech medicines and hovercrafts and all that other stuff. Another one that's more labeled YA sci-fi would be Cinder or the Lunar Chronicles. I'm only in the middle of Scarlet, so I can't really recommend the other books. But Cinder is a light sci-fi Cinderella retelling. Cinder is a cyborg in this futuristic Beijing, and they have like port screens, and people have colonized the moon, so there's that. Fantasy. So there's a few I can go for fantasy, depending on what you consider fantasy and all this other stuff. So right off the bat, I definitely have to mention Harry Potter. I've made it through 3.5 books, but you have wizards, you have three-headed dog, unicorns, magical this and that, basic stuff. And it's a fun story. A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray has some fantasy element, or it is fantasy elements. It has to do with like a girl that foresees her mother's death, and then there's this thing about like witches and stuff and magical powers, and yeah. I would say also by the same author that Going Bovine definitely has fantasy elements. There's a talking lawn gnome that believes he's a Nordic god, and an angel of the boy sees, and stuff like that. So that definitely has to have. I'm gonna pour myself a drink here. Definitely has to have, or does, fantasy elements. Coraline, little girl finds a tunnel in her house and it takes her to another world that's like her world, but the opposite. Mystery. So I don't read a whole lot of mystery. Like, I think I've watched more than I've read, and I'd like to read more because I like twists and stuff. But I would say the Pretty Little Liars series. I never got into the show. Then one day I just picked up the book from the library, and it's fluffy reading. It's not something too intellectually deep, but it's fun. Coming up to number 4 is YA, and I'm gonna say it. I like John Green. I do. I have made issues with Looking for Alaska, but I think, it was fairly well written in a way. I mean, the books are fun. I mean, there's a lot of things in them that do make you think. And, I like the fact that there's not dumb teenagers in these. Okay, some of the stuff they do is kind of dumb. But, I think it's maybe because just my life and everything, and the things that happen, I kind of spent time thinking about religion and the world and this and that, and I became interested in spirituality and cultures and all that other stuff. But at the same time, I kind of like pop music and all that other stuff. So I think maybe if he would have mixed some of that stuff in there a little bit more than just these straight intellectual things, maybe it would have been a little bit more believable. But I do like the fact that, he doesn't dumb down the characters, for the most part. Libba Brea, who I just mentioned, 2 of her books, Going Bovine and A Great and Terrible Beauty. Beauty Queens. That's a great YA book. Horror. So I haven't read a whole lot of horror. I read Carrie, which is, you can tell it's a debut novel. It's a little strange. A different kind of horror compared to the movie, which was a little bit more dramatic. What else? There were some good stories in The Bizarre Bad Dreams by the same author. Some weird ones. Rings, or Ring, I believe by Koji Suzuki, would be the author. And that's the movie, The Ring, or Ringu, from Japan, is based on. Very different from the movie. Actually, both American and Japanese version of the film changed that story. But, yeah, I read that one. What else in horror? I guess you can count Coraline in some ways as like children's horror, spooky kind of thing. And there's always Goosebumps. Fiction. So I guess this would mean like, well, a lot of these are fiction, to be honest, but I'm guessing more like literary-ish fiction, what they would consider maybe adult contemporary or classics or whatever else. I can't remember the answer that some of the other people gave for this one. I think it's just a very broad question. But it's good because, you have many things that you can put into this one. I'm going to say one that I love that's an adult contemporary or somewhere along those lines is The Elegance of the Hedgehog. Great dialogue in that one. Not a whole lot of plot. So if you're a person that likes action and this and that, it may not be the book for you. But if you like the thoughts of people and opinions and this and that, I definitely recommend that one. What else have I read that wouldn't be considered like fantasy or sci-fi or anything like that? I don't know. I haven't read a whole lot of classics, and the ones that I have read have been a while. Obviously, To Kill a Mockingbird is a good one. Of Mice and Men, quite short, but I enjoyed the story. I haven't read it in years. Yeah, I need to read more classics and contemporary. 7 is travel. So I don't read a whole lot of nonfiction. So like I said, I'm going to twist some of these. There is Traveling and Going Bovine. And Paper Towns, they go on road trips for those. Humor. So right off the bat, I'm going to say read Garfield comics because they are hilarious and they make you laugh. Going Bovine had its funny moments, and Abundance of Catherine's had its funny moments. I'm going back to YA here, but yeah, they have their funny moments. Beauty Queens is hilarious. I'm trying to think of what else could be considered funny. Now I'm realizing that I read a lot of depressing crap. History. I haven't read a whole lot of history. There's books that I have that I haven't gotten to yet that I want to read. Number of the Stars is historical fiction. That's by the same person that wrote The Giver. I didn't like it as much as that, but it's a decent book. Science and Nature. I guess I look a lot of that stuff up online. So I don't have recommendations. There are books that I want to check out, but I haven't read them to, recommend them to you guys. Most of nature stuff I have is coming from spiritual books, such as ones on paganism, Wicca, etc., and, obviously personal things. Craft. Nothing I would say specifically, but I do have a couple books on how to draw. There's one on dragons and there's one on manga characters, and I can't remember for the life of me what they're called, but they're pretty decent. A dark horse, something that doesn't quite fit. I guess I'll go for something that I'm getting more into, which is manga. Sailor Moon is beautiful. Chibi Vampire is fun and adorable. What else? What else have I read? I've started Fairy Tail, which is really fun. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of right now. And that is my jumbo genre recommendations tag. I think almost everyone has been tagged in this, so if you're watching and you want to do it, I tag you. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.